Welcome to the show. We appreciate you joining us here today for Dime to Diamonds. My name is Jessica. I'm joined here today with Suzanne Porsky of Phoenix Financial Group and, of course, Rochelle Harp of Harp CPA. Now, if you've been thinking about retirement, wondering how do I retire, when do I retire, can I retire, you are in the right spot. These are the topics we discuss each and every single week. And then most importantly, Suzanne and Rochelle tell you how you can retire with confidence. That phone number, 918-890-8311, 918-890-8311. The website, dimetodiamondsradio.com. Ladies, welcome. How you doing?
Doing awesome, Jess. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Trying just to gear up, and we're doing back to school shopping already. I can't believe this for my kids. So that's been exciting.
Oh, my goodness. I'm ready for the heat to just back off about 20 degrees.
It is crazy here right now.
Because you go from inside the house or inside the office where you're a little chilled because I'm at a steady 70. Then you go outside and you're just like everything is steaming on you because it's like 100 degrees outside. So
it takes your breath away with the heat index and everything. Even with the little bit of wind, it doesn't really seem to help.
Well, I think we got down to 91 in the middle of the night.
Oh, yes.
I know. I was like at 5 this morning watering and the plants are like, thank you. It's been a long night.
Rochelle, how are the animals doing on the farm? I mean, it's hot. Are they hanging out?
They're getting ice and frozen watermelons and stuff like that. They do not like the heat. The poor little chickens, they have their big mouths open and you can just see them panting. I feel so sorry for them.
You need to get them like an AC unit or something in their little house or a fan or something.
They get close to that. You know, they do have fans. Everybody has fans and they have lots of shade because they're in the woods. So,
what about your goats?
They like the heat better than they like the cold.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you have any that are just a pain in the rear?
Gracie, she's the bad one.
Yeah, Gracie's a bad one?
Yeah, well, she's like the alpha, and so she's just mean. And then, you know, she bosses the other one around, doesn't let her eat, and, you know, she's just not nice.
And you said they're not tiny.
They're not tiny. They're big. So, you know, they're like 150. Yeah, well, next time you're out here, Jess, you'll have to come and visit and come see the goats and chickens and hang out in the cabin, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If it's in the fall, we can do a cookout, s'mores and hot dogs and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so the granddaughter her mother made, because they're kind of crunchy, meaning they're very healthy people eating. She made s'mores, but she calls them snores. So she said, Gigi, I made you a special schnorr.
Sure.
But I got the small schnorr, and then Grandpa got the big schnorr last night, and she's like, do you want to eat them while I'm here? I'm like, no, I think I'm going to save them for a special time. Because you never know on that super healthy.
Like if it's going to be tasty?
Right.
Yeah.
Because it was coconut-flavored whipped cream.
Okay.
With, I'm sure, gluten-free crackers, cacao from the middle of the forest. It was good, actually. The sweets for me, I can do it like a bite or two, and then I'm good. Mm-hmm. And that Grandpa got the larger snore.
That's amazing. So as you guys can see listening to the show, we like to just be real and relax here on the show. We're going to talk about retirement and income and all that good stuff too, but we like to let you guys know we are real people. Rochelle really is out there on the farm with goats and chickens, and you are with your grandchildren all the time. Suzanne and Charlotte always says the funniest things. So, we're not just here just to talk money. We're here to be real so you guys get to know us as well.
Absolutely. And thank you to each and every one of you that has come in here. You listeners know exactly who you are. The ones that now you can picture our room that Rochelle and I and Jess are in, because I drag you over here when you come in and see me if I have the chance to, and show you where we're at, so then I can have a visual of you. I think I'm going to start taking pictures of us with ours so we can start putting them all over the place. But thank you so much. It makes it worth it. I don't want to be a radio personality. I'm doing this because we need a larger net to spread this knowledge and information. There isn't this information, a holistic approach to all of retirement out there that I've seen as fluid as there is other stuff. And so, yes, the time, the money that takes to do these shows, it warms my heart. It fills me up to know that they come in here. On that note, Jess, you know, our second to last workshop of 2026 is coming up. And we are at 46 right now. We have 4 more places. It is at the Senior Center. It is August 6th from 7 to 8:30. Give us a call or even text. Some of you text last week at 918-890-8311 and tell me that you want to register. I'll send you the link to it because you have to register. And like I said, after today, I'm sure we're going to have a waiting list, and we'll put you on that waiting list for that very last workshop that we'll have in September. And And then that'll be it till 2027, because last time was about 62 people. So if you can imagine, it's a one of a 2-part workshop. So whatever you learn there, you get to come in for an hour and ask us all the questions, and then we customize those answers to you, because if not, we'd be there for 4 hours at a workshop with all the questions. So from the last one, we are just wrapping up all 62 appointments. So we're going to do this 2 more times.
Yeah, because everybody's situation is individual and different. And so it's really important to come there, learn about some of the topics that maybe you haven't been educated on, so that you can come in and ask those questions and get it tailored down to your specific goals.
On Friday, I had a fire lit under me. I was so frustrated, ladies. I found out that Medicare went in and made another change.
What kind of change?
Supplemental benefits used to be, a long time ago when they first came out, to cover that 20% that Medicare doesn't. It was Medicare Advantage or a Medicare supplement plan. In Medicare Advantage, you get to pick right when you turn 65 and get Medicare. Then you have open enrollment for Medicare Advantage every year, but they never had open enrollment and still don't have open enrollment for Medicare supplement. So then they passed a law that you could have the birthday rule.
Right.
They just changed that law that if you don't have Medicare supplement, you don't qualify. The only time you can change your Medicare supplement for your birthday rule is if you already have a Medicare supplement plan.
And you say the supplement. Talk to me about that. What is that so our listeners know?
So that is your Plan G, your Plan H, your Plan N, stuff like that. So it's an outside company, Allstate, Nationwide, Mutual of Omaha. What it does just is if you have a supplement plan, you decide your health care, what you want, where you want to go, and they cover it. You have a $268 deductible. That's it. From there, I've had family diagnosed with cancer. If they had Medicare Advantage, they'd have to wait and be referred through the whole system to get help. And some of that 6, 8, 9 months. I have had family that has that supplemental plan that says, no, I'm going to MD Anderson. I did my homework over the weekend. They are known to cure esophageal cancer or whatever it is. Then you go there and it's all covered. So you can definitely understand why Medicare, our government, would say, we don't want people to have that plan because you're controlling their 80%. They're having to pay. You're leading it. You're directing. You're the one in charge when you have a Medicare supplement plan. The government's in charge when you have a Medicare Advantage plan. The only time you can get a Medicare supplement plan outside of being right when you originally choose it is if you qualify. You have to go through underwriting, meaning they're going to look at any meds. If you're on meds for high blood pressure, all that stuff, you have to qualify for Medicare supplement. And that's a 50-50 shot, really.
Well, and most people are wanting to make a change because they have had some type of ailment or incident or realize they're not getting covered where they need to, so they're not.
If you're on anti-anxiety medicine or antidepressant, I know for when we do life insurance, somehow that's rated and it's not in a good way. I do not know because this is all brand new information to me as of last Friday on this whole Medicare. Because I said, hey, we've got the birthday rule. She's coming from Medicare Advantage, Medicare Disadvantage in my world. She's coming from that. She was at a workshop. She's like, oh my gosh, I did some homework. I might not be paying that much now, but it's either pay now or pay later. It's going to come out of when I want to go get my own health care, Medicare Advantage doesn't approve it. It's coming out of my pocketbook to keep me alive or my spouse alive. And that's when I was told, they go, oh, they just changed that law where if you're on a Medicare, if you are Medicare Advantage, you want to go to a Medicare supplement, you have to qualify.
You still have to go through underwriting, which before during the birthday rule. So was it 30 days before and 30 days after you could make any choice you wanted? But now they're saying that's not the case.
Nope. Not unless you already have a Medicare supplement plan and you want to change carriers. And like I tell people, you do change carriers because it's insurance.
Correct.
It's one of those every year that you just kind of do the shopping, or you have someone like us that it's on your team. We do the shopping for you and say, hey, it looks like Mutual of Omaha this year is better. Or, hey, it looks like Nationwide or whoever. This is what's not Humana, but I'm trying to think of some of the carriers. So,
and when people are working, a lot of times your employer is the one that is doing a lot of this for you. But think of it like your car. When you go and you're doing car insurance and different stuff, you do typically go and review your rates annually or maybe every 2 years to see if you can get a lower rate. And so you're now applying this in retirement. You're applying this to your health insurance in that same manner. It's just usually prior.
Yeah, and you know what else I learned is that if you are 65 and you work for an employer that doesn't have qualified coverage, meaning there's not 20 or more people
Correct.
there, that it's a 10% penalty for the rest of your life for every single month, not year, month. If you wait 3 months, you will be penalized 30% penalty from your Social Security benefit. They will take it out for the rest of your life. It's 1% on prescription.
Yep.
And so, Jess, that is why we do what we do, and we're here and we do the workshops, and we're on Channel 2. We're on national television, local, anywhere we can to say Medicare is one of the biggest decisions that you're going to have to make, and you need to know what's going on. And you know what else I found out? To put them in a supplement plan, remember I was telling you it was like $110 compared to the $11,000 that's paid to somebody if they sell Medicare Advantage. $25. I will get a whopping $25 for doing what's right for that birthday rule. It's just, so they're trying to de-incentivize.
Right,
So it just controls, it controls the narrative here. Yeah. And they're like, are you sure you don't want to sell Medicare Advantage because you get paid so much more? I'm like, no, thank you.
It doesn't have good long-term effects for people. It kind of counteracts what we do, which is trying to create wealth and keep people having wealth forever. And if they're not able to pay for their health care, then it becomes a real stress.
Yes, if they can't pay because we're taking it out. And I'm telling you, go ahead and try to not breathe, because that's what it's like when you've got, and I know personally, after my husband had his stroke, you will move mountains to get the help that they need in the best way possible, you know?
Well, if the alternative is not to have that individual anymore, then you're definitely going to fork out whatever the cost is, right? You're going to find a way to make those payments so that you can continue to have the person that you love and want to spend,
The quality of life.
Give a call today. That's 918-890-8311, 918-890-8311. You can also go to the website, dimetodiamondsradio.com. If you don't have a chance to call today, you can text us as well. We'll get back to you. 918-890-8311. Coming up in just a moment, why is President Trump looking down under for America's next possible retirement answer? We'll tell you in just a moment.
The people at JP Morgan found that if you have a steady, reliable paycheck coming in every month in retirement, you'll worry less and spend more. And that's what Suzanne and the team at Phoenix Financial Group have been doing for years. Find out what they can do for you. Call today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting. Call 918-890-8311. That's 918-890-8311. Or check us out online at dimetodiamondsradio.com.
The cookie cutter approach works well if you're making cookies, but not so well when you're trying to plan for retirement. If you want a customized income strategy, call Suzanne Porsky at Phoenix Financial Group today. Call 918-890-8311. That's 918-890-8311, or go to dimetodiamondsradio.com.
Welcome back to Dime to Diamonds. We appreciate you joining us here today. Anything we talk about kind of raises those red flags, or you have questions about your own financial future, your retirement, you can text or call us today. That's 918-890-8311. That website, dimetodiamondsradio.com. Congress continues kicking the Social Security can down the road. That's one reason why President Trump says he's seriously looking at a pension system like Australia has. This system requires employers to contribute about 12% of workers' pay into private accounts, and participation is mandatory. Australia taxes retirement contributions every year at 15%. In the U.S., 401k money is tax deferred, just to give you the difference there. So regardless of what Congress eventually decides, guys, most people still have a plan for retirement with the rules we have today. So what are the biggest things that someone can do right now to improve their retirement outlook?
Jess, Congress is going to do whatever Congress decides, as we know. And our job, and I know here for me, is to decide what their financial future looks like and make sure that their retirement isn't dependent on any politician getting everything right. The things that we can control, and like you say, Rochelle, and I've seen it, we can control the things that matter most: taxes, income, risk, healthcare, estate planning, because I think when people focus on what they can control, that retirement becomes so much less stressful. And then when people start talking like he's talking about doing that, and I have family friends in Australia and in their healthcare, and I watch their system, and you still comes down to there's not a magic pill you're going to take, and it's not going to make everything okay. And I am very concerned about our Social Security system right now, to be honest with you, because they are going to have to do cuts. If you look at the baby boomers right now, they were born between 1946 and 1964. Right now, their age is 62 to 80. And you look at that in 6 to 8 years, they're going to be hitting 70, and it's going to make them take Social Security. They're talking in 6 years by dropping 20 to 27% on that benefit, so they don't run out of money. I look at the government and how they've misappropriated the money that they've had in Social Security so far. So why give them more responsibility and more options?
That's my thought on it too, is it's interesting that the individuals that have caused the problem, and not necessarily the ones that are sitting in there today, but just in general, are the ones that are saying, hey, it didn't work the first time, but give us some more money and we'll make it work now.
In this big wealth transfer that's going on, the baby boomers, the largest wealth transfer in the history of our country, it's going in predominantly into women's hands. Statistically, we live longer than men. Ladies, I'm talking to you. When somebody messes up once or twice, how often do we say, hey, you know what? It's okay. We're going to go ahead. We got this. The cookies have turned out like crap twice. I'm good. Why don't you go do another task and let me take care of this so I can ensure that it's somewhat to my liking? And I have a feeling, I'm hoping that there's enough people that rise up and say, hey, you know what? We're good. Yeah, y'all screwed this thing up. It didn't work. It's not working.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's one of those, I still think they need to address the issue on the deficit, which is what we're talking about, is the fact that those individuals, there's a huge population that's going to start taking money out. At that same time, they're going to stop putting money in because they're going to start retiring.
They're 70,
right. And so that's going to create even more of a deficit.
A double.
And so that is going to, that's going to cause a big issue. And so I do think that is something that needs to be on the forethought of their minds. But I also think people need to realize and remember that Social Security was only put into place to replace about 40% of your income anyways.
Right.
Now, with that, we estimate that people, once they retire, they need about 80% of their working income to continue to live the same type of lifestyle. That's not set in stone, but averages. Right. So what you're thinking is you need about 40% of your own money. And this goes back to when pensions were at companies. And we know that that's not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of that because I like to have control. I think I'm going to manage the money better than someone else will. I have my own interests are going to be, at heart there. So it's one of those where I don't like saying, okay, well, now we have employers take 15%, give it to the government, have them manage it some more. I would rather it be put, into some other type where the individuals can control it. So it goes back to what can we control? We can control our savings and we can control our investments in retirement and we can control the plan that we put into place. And we talk about being proactive with those plans. And there's no better time to start than now.
This is it. This is your sign. If you're like, gosh, you know what? I do need to do something about this, or I do need to talk to somebody. You can come in and talk to us right now and we can put a bug in your ear and we'll give you some homework. And that's on you when you want to ever come back or implement anything. 918-890-8311. As Rochelle says it all the time to me, if it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen.
Correct.
Call us, text us, say, hey, get me on your calendar. You call or text, you're getting myself or one of my staff members because it comes into the office and we jump on it and you're going to hear directly from us. So 918-890-8311. Let us help you, educate you on what you can control. And you can control your taxes. We can control your income, your risk. Talk to you about health care and estate planning. And that health care is really Medicare, to be honest. You guys, if it sounds too good to be true, come on. Yep. You know this. You've had an elder in your life that has told you this. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Yep.
If they're offering you that Medicare Advantage and it's not costing you anything, it's going to cost you somewhere. There are good things out there. I like the free candy and stuff I get at Kilman's down the street here. There are when it's too good to be true. But you know what I'm saying on Medicare, get educated. We're here in the third quarter. It's going to ramp up and you're going to be offered steak dinners and backpacks here soon because Medicare open enrollment.
Well, and I think healthcare is one of the biggest expenses that people underestimate during retirement. And I think it's estimated that the average retiree will spend around $300,000 on their healthcare. And I think that's a number that people would not get anywhere close to. So it's really, really one of the bigger decisions that you're making. And then as she talked about, if you don't do it at the right time, make the right selection at the right time, you're penalized. And I think a lot of people just aren't aware of some of these rules, and it's just not communicated.
Again, that phone number, 918-890-8311. This is to really talk about anything that is concerning you, be it Social Security, income, the cost of health care. We know that is going to continue to go up, taxes. This is all part of that custom financial needs analysis that we'll give you today, complimentary, 918-890-8311. Remember, you can call or text to make that appointment or to attend this upcoming workshop on August 6th. And you were talking about health care being one of the biggest costs in retirement. Well, another cost that people forget about or just sweep under the rug is housing, right? The typical U.S. home is about 44 years now, and that's becoming a real financial issue for retired homeowners. We're talking about homes that weren't built for modern lifestyles. So now there's repairs like roofs and plumbing, and the HVAC are turning into must-do maintenance items. And just to keep the home livable, that is. So I'm curious, when you're sitting down and you're creating a budget for retirement, do you count these kind of big ticket items? Or is it a sign that it may be, you need to downsize and rethink where you live? How does that work?
Oh, it's always, always, always a conversation, because there's so much that plays into that. And then what if something happens to one of them? I had to retrofit my house at the last minute to get my husband home, and all that. Thank God, when I bought this house, I knew we're not spring chickens, and I knew I did not want stairs. There's two places that somebody that's not walking can't get up, and I'm trying to do a wheelchair, so I need to get, so we have those conversations. And then like we talk about the widow's penalty, a lot of times they don't want to live in their house after it's just way too big. They have their list of who does what, and then they've got this list of, we're going to need to call and get the roof checked, and we're going to need to do all this that sometimes doesn't get done. And so now, on top of grieving the loss, they're like, I know I need to downsize. We should have thought about this before. Then it comes in, you have to make this decision. Well, it makes sense financially because you're married filing jointly in that year that they passed away. So some of our clients now, Rochelle, that their spouses passed away in January and February, are thinking, I've got to make this move and get out of here by December 31st so I can get that $500,000 exclusion on my capital gains, so I'm not getting hit financially. But if they lose their spouse in October and November, they're having to make that decision, correct?
They still have to make that decision before the end of the year, right? Because when we're talking about that exclusion, it's based off of that time frame, that year that you sell it in. And that's really tough emotionally for a lot of those individuals. The other piece is it's not always cheaper to downsize.
Right. Not right now.
Not right now.
I mean, our average median, it did go from $417,000 down to $387,000. I know that. I was on Alicia Summers' One American News channel last week. She interviewed me and we were talking about that. The interest rate's still 6.6%. So what is your portfolio? Just these are all the things. You just opened up this little Pandora's box in my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, do we have investment vehicles that are earning more than that? Are one of you still like, do you have a nonprofit? Do you have a 501c3? Do you have a business? Is there some tax deductions? What are we working with? Because you have to talk to somebody that's got the whole big picture in mind. You can't just talk to the kids, hey, we're thinking about selling the family home, because guess what? All those emotions. You need to talk to somebody on the outside like us, a third party that has a team that Rochelle's in the room. Once I do the initial conversations and break down where they're at, where they want to go, her and I start talking, and the rest of the team, they come back in, and these are some ideas. And we never say this is what needs to happen. Right. This is the ideas. This is our suggestion, because when you do sell this home and there is this huge capital gain, you're going to want to make sure to absorb that when you're filing joint.
Right.
And not single.
Correct.
And then IRMA, you have to remember that your Medicare, your health care that you're being charged for is based on your income.
For the prior 2 years, not 1 year, so that's 24 months.
It's from the prior 2 years, and it affects you the next 2 years ahead of it. So and it's not just your paycheck.
It's not just your W-2 wages. It's going to include any capital gains, any dividends, any interest income, any tax-free income that you don't really you report it on your tax return, but it doesn't cause it to go up. But all of that gets added into inheritance, all of it.
Why do people think if they get inheritance that doesn't have to show?
I don't know. I always tell people that really what you need to think about is if you didn't have it today and you have it tomorrow, the government wants to tax you on it.
And then they're going to, if you're on Medicare, they're going to base your Medicare premiums. We had 2 people came in, they're sisters. One pays $200 a month, one pays $800 a month. Same house, but one decided to sell one of the residences. And it created a capital gain. Her husband passed away and she sold it and they moved in together. And so because she waited, it's all that.
Yeah, it seems like we keep circling right back to Medicare. Everything kind of income kind of goes right back to that today. Medicare is a big topic on today's show, and you're exactly right. A lot of people don't think about that. Well, what do you mean? I sold my house. It's my money. I don't have to tell anybody. Yeah, you do. And you talked about inheritance. I think a lot of people think, well, it was a gift. You know, my parents left me this gift of inheritance. The government should have nothing to do with it. Unfortunately, Uncle Sam is always going to have something to do with it. You want to make sure that you're doing it the right way.
Remember, Rochelle, in your head, if you didn't have it yesterday and you have it today, the government, unless it was cash dollars in the back alleyway, unless it was cash dollars.
I mean, technically, you're supposed to report your cash.
Right.
So.
And I'm just saying, I do because I do. If somebody gives you money, you're supposed to report it. But if you sell your dresser or whatever it is, you're supposed to report that you made money off of the stuff, right?
I mean, so it goes back to, this was the funny thing during COVID, right? So cars, if you sold your used car, a lot of times nobody was reporting that, but you're reporting profits, right? So a lot of times when you sold a used car, you bought the car at $24,000 and you sold it for $8,000. So you didn't make any money on that, right? You lost money. But what happened during COVID, ironically, was that people had cars that should have probably sold for $8,000, but they didn't. They were selling them for $26,000 because there was a shortage. You did need to report that because you made a gain on that car, on that vehicle.
So it's really hard when you've got a friend as smart as Rochelle.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Consciousness.
Wait a minute.
That's like,
I got to go fill out some tax forms, guys. I'll be back in just a minute. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, but this is all important information you need to know, and I cannot say it enough. That's why it's so important to work with a professional like Rochelle, like Suzanne, that can say, hey, guys, let's make sure you're doing this the right way, because eventually Uncle Sam will find out, and it's not going to be a good day because you have to go back and pay penalties and everything else. Is that right, Rochelle?
That is correct. You get to pay interest, penalties for not paying on time, and then you get interest on top of that, and they get a nice interest rate too. I wish I could get that interest. I'd be really happy.
Right. But you know what? There might be, we haven't met him yet, but there might be somebody out there that doesn't mind, overpaying. They want to help our government because we're in a deficit and they need money. So they're like, throw them some more money. We've got plenty of it rolling around here.
Well, again, the phone number, guys, text or call us today if you are concerned about this, wanting to sit down and make sure that you're being tax efficient, especially if you're currently retired. This is where you can sit down with both Suzanne and Rochelle. That phone number, 918-890-8311, 918-890-8311. That website, dimetodiamondsradio.com. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, AI seems to be literally everywhere, but should it be in the personal finance space? We're going to talk about that in just a moment.